Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Jeremy Scott Fitness Podcast Radio Show, coming to you on this Monday, August the 31st, 2020. Hopefully this finds you staying safe and staying sweaty all at the same time. It is about 2 o'clock here. I've been awake since 3:41 this morning, so I'm dragging ass for sure. I'm admittedly very tired right now, and I could easily just go home and take a nap, but I just cracked a cold brew because I wanted to get you guys a podcast today because I care about you, and we're like friends. Even though hundreds of thousands of you I have never talked to, seen, or met in person. However, I do appreciate you watching on YouTube and listening to the podcast and Instagram and Facebook and all the stuff that we put out. It really is humbling, and I sincerely appreciate it. So it's on days like this where I'll gut through the tiredness to hopefully drop some important, valuable information on you. But before I get into that, a reminder, my homies at JLab are still giving away a free bottle of probiotics. I don't know how many there are left. I have sent out a shitload of messages on LinkedIn, email, Instagram, Facebook, and our newsletter got the message today as well. But they give me at least 150 free bottles of probiotics to give out. All you guys do is pay the shipping and handling. Depending where you live, it's probably between $6 and like $8, give or take. And then they'll send you a free bottle of probiotics, 100% for nothing other than the shipping. And it's about, I think it's like a month's worth for free. It's a probiotic that I take personally. I store it in the fridge. Anybody who gets them, stick them in your refrigerator. The link right now is in my Instagram stories. It's in my Instagram bio as well. If you're listening to this and you hear this anytime close to August 31st, I would imagine they might extend the deal and give away a couple extra free bottles if I keep pushing this super hard. So you might have until September 1st or 2nd. So again, if you want a free bottle of probiotics, because gut health matters, because it's, your gut is responsible for probably 70-80% of your immune system. I don't see why you wouldn't jump on a free offer like that. I for surely would if it didn't work with these guys directly. So that is my free plug to you guys today. Now, on to today's episode. This comes from my good homie Travis Merritt, who, if you guys have listened to the podcast before, I've shared a lot of awesome stuff Travis has put out. Hopefully, the world keeps rolling the right way in terms of things opening up, us being free to do, cool shit like we used to do. And I want to get Travis on the podcast. That's probably going to be like a 2 or 3 hour podcast for sure. He is in Texas. Texas is more Wild West than here, so I could either make the trip or he could, or we could meet in the middle. But I definitely want to get him on. He was a part of my mastermind group for many years. We have begged, borrowed, and stole a lot of things from each other. And this is a little gem he put out not too long ago called 11 Silly Things People Do When They're Trying to Get in Shape. And admittedly, I only read through probably 3 of them. Full disclaimer here. So if the other 8 are terrible, I'll message him on Instagram and his Facebook and crush him and tell him how terrible he is. All jokes aside, I'm pretty sure these are all things that I agree with because we come from the same school of thought in terms of fitness and nutrition and overall, mindset and the total body and well-being. It's just, it's like your groups of friends, right? Like we all have these groups of friends in life, and they're in different buckets. And I'm not saying one's better or worse, but the friends you have that you can you just vibe with them. Like you can say anything, you basically think and feel similar things. It doesn't always have to match up, directly, but you're cut from the same cloth, if you will. It's like I describe my friends who listen to hip hop, like the true hip hop heads who grew up like I did on the old school 90s rap, Easy, NWA, Dre, Snoop, Too Short, Mobb Deep, Do or Die, like the real stuff, right? And you can put on a song like Shook Ones and everybody knows it. And you can talk about basketball and you all remember watching the same, Bulls, Sonics finals. Like it's like that group of friends. Like for me anyway, that's the people like I'm the tightest with. We can say the same things. We think similar in terms of like material possessions and career and life importance and all that stuff. And then you have other friends who, I have friends who listen to country and I hate country music. And I have other friends who don't like sports at all. And I'm a sports fan. So it's like they're different buckets of friends. And what I'm saying to you in the roundabout crazy way is Trav and I come from the same school of thought in terms of fitness and nutrition. And I think all, in my opinion, quality health and fitness professionals think in the same realm, because there's only certain things that work. It's not fad diets. It's not gimmicky shit. It's not crashing and starting and stopping. It's the things that are attainable and sustainable for the long haul. Eating real food, exercising, getting quality sleep, treating the body as a whole, the physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional, not just how do I get, six-pack abs? How do I get, super tight glutes? That's important, but if we don't tackle all these other areas, it's all for naught. And that's what I mean by, like, there's certain kinds of friends where you can vibe with and you think the same things, and then you got friends who are kind of crazy. They're still your friends, they're just like your crazy friends, and you put them in this different bucket. Or as we say, there's levels to this. There's levels to your friends. So Trav and I think the same about fitness. So I'm assuming all 11 of these are what I vibe with, and so we'll dig into them together here. Number 1 of the 11 silly things people do when they try to get in shape. Number 1 is thinking it needs to be one extreme or the other with dieting, such as keto versus, let's say, vegetarian. Unless you have like a medical reason, the answer usually lies somewhere in the middle. And this is not a political podcast. I don't talk about a lot of that stuff because it's not my expertise. I'm not educated enough on bills and certain things. I think what I think. I have my beliefs. I'm somewhere in the middle on a lot of stuff. I know a lot of people, it's red or blue. It's all far right. It's all far left. It's pro-business or pro-life or whatever your thing is. I think most of us fall somewhere in the middle when it comes to that. And what I mean is in the middle, like logical, reasoning, seeing things from both sides of the fence, not, demonizing one thing and not putting something else on a pedestal, making it like all-encompassingly good or all-encompassingly bad. I think that's a real narrow mindset to look at things. And obviously, there is the people who are the diehard vegans. How do you know they're diehard vegans? They'll fucking tell you. That's how you'll know. Like, you'll know within 20 seconds of talking to them. Oh, I can't eat that, I'm vegan. And there's nothing wrong with being vegan. Respect. I love you guys. It's great. If it works for you, awesome. But you get very territorial sometimes. Now, I'm generalizing here when I say that, but it's true. It's kind of like the CrossFit community. It's this, kind of cult. It's very, I do CrossFit. Like there's just beauty in that because they take this extreme ownership in it. There's beauty in the brand of it. There's beauty in the brotherhood of that. But they'll let you know. It's the same thing the people who are like the carnivores or even keto people. They'll let you know. They'll tell you they can't eat that in 2 seconds. Oh, I don't eat bread, I'm keto. Whether they really are or not is probably irrelevant, but they will tell you. The point being is you don't have to be that extreme to get great results. You can eat lower carbohydrates and get great results and still have cinnamon rolls and cereal every now and then. Like, you can be vegetarian and vegan mostly and then enjoy a steak once in a while. Like, I know the terminology is not going to fit there, but that can happen. I'm a fan of like a well-balanced plan personally. I think that works best. I'm not saying eat only meat. I'm not saying eat only vegetables. There's a Mendoza line in there for everybody, and only you can kind of live in that range of what you feel comfortable with. But you don't have to cut out all carbohydrates to be fit. You don't have to cut out all meat to be fit or healthy. Most people, the answer to you being healthy, fit, and happy and finding a sustainable lifestyle lies somewhere in the middle there, in the common sense. Now, I have friends of mine who eat only meat. That's it. They eat no fucking vegetables, zero. And they say they feel great on it, and it's amazing. And they're their healthiest. They say they look their best. They feel their best. Their blood work is the best, and it works for them. I did the carnivore diet for a couple weeks. I do eat mostly meat most days, but I also eat Brussels sprouts. I also eat spirulina and spinach, and I will eat greens. I have nothing against asparagus. Like, I think it's a healthy part of the diet. So I might err towards being more meat heavy, but I also eat vegetables. I eat blueberries, damn near every single day. Again, do I drink alcohol? Rarely ever, once in a great while. So my point is you don't have to be extreme and say, I can never do this or do that unless you have like a medical condition or reason, or you're an addict and you can't even have one drink, or you can't even have one cookie, or whatever it may be. But most of us, the answer is probably somewhere in the middle of finding a balanced plan that gives us a little bit of everything so we don't feel like we're deprived and we're not driving ourselves crazy every day saying all the things we can't have. What we should be saying is, here's all the things we can have in moderation, and we're choosing to or not to have them depending on what our goals are. Number 2, trying to out-train a bad night of eating. And all the people out there who, punish themselves for doing that, what I would say is, don't punish yourself for a bad night of eating. I believe it creates an unhealthy relationship with food, and a lot of people do this. Now, I'm not against doing like a damage control workout. We actually, it's when our Sunday Metcon series comes out, which all the videos are done, by the way, everybody. We'll probably launch it sometime in 2021. It'll probably be the second program we launch in like spring of next year. I don't want to do it before that. If I have to, I will, but I think spring of next year we'll put that out. And all the videos are they're disgusting. We still have to create the program around it, but all the videos are actually done. And the Turkey Day one that we share, we call it's a 1,000 rep workout. I've shared it before on Instagram. Some of you guys have done it. It's absolutely terrible. It's dumbbells only, but we call it Turkey Day damage control, because we do it before the Thanksgiving feast, because we're all going to go home and probably drink booze and eat way too much until we want to shit puke on ourselves. And then we'll take a nap, and then we'll do it again 3 more times because we're Americans and we're stupid and we overeat on Thanksgiving. Although I've eaten way better on Thanksgiving the last 2 years, specifically last year, than I have ever in my life, and I actually felt really good about it. So patting myself on the back there. But that workout we call damage control. I have no issue with that stuff. And if you know you're going to go out and eat pizza and drink booze and have fun with friends and family, I don't mind if you do a harder workout, or even if you wake up the next day and you get a good workout in because you're using all of the glycogen that you got stored up in your body and all the carbohydrates and excess sugars and those things. But don't beat yourself up about it, and don't, punish yourself, by killing yourself to try to, undo all the bad eating you did. I don't think that's a healthy way to go about your relationship with food, and it really doesn't work. The calories in, calories out thing, it doesn't equate that way. Like your body doesn't know you want to burn off only the 900 pizza calories, but keep the 120 Brussels sprout calories. That's not how it breaks down. So it's just like how you can't spot weight reduce. You can't pick like, oh, my legs already look fine, I want it to come off my stomach. It doesn't work that way. It comes off of where it comes off of, it goes on where it goes on. That's just life. If we could do the spot reducing and like slathering on muscle in certain areas, this whole fitness thing would be a hell of a lot easier, but unfortunately it is not. Number 3, overestimate what they can do in 3 months, but underestimate what they can do in 12 months. I've said this many, many times before. Great minds think alike. Doing a 3-month crash program is great for the short term. But if the goal is to look amazing for years to come, that's not what I would do. When you do that 3-month kind of, crash course dieting stuff, that's like people trying to look good just for the weekend. And as I like to say, it's easy come, easy go. If you only sacrifice 3 months for something, how great can it really be? But if you sacrifice 4 times that much, it's a whole hell of a lot better. And the longevity of it, and you doing something for that extended period of time, makes it far more likely that it is a sustainable, pattern or style, or like I said, lifestyle you can do for probably the long run. So I do think a lot of people do this in life. We underestimate what we can get done in 3 months, I think a lot of people overestimate what they can get done in 3 months, but they underestimate what they can get done in a year. And that's people in general. I think if you want to go even a longer time frame, we overestimate what we can do in a year, but we underestimate what we can do in 3 years. And no matter how you look at that, I think that's kind of the culture we're in, with like people want results instantly and they want it quick, and if it doesn't happen, they get pissed. And I get it. It's tough, but that's why, I think you see the problems we have in America with people being so unhealthy, with heart disease and diabetes and obesity, really causing them to have major issues with not only the pandemic, but I just think just their fucking life in general, because they're so unhealthy all the time. Because what they do is they'll be like, well, I've been really awesome for 3 months, and they've seen some changes, but they think 3 months equals 3 years of hard work, and that's not anywhere close to reality. And it's frustrating. This is my side rant here. as a fitness professional, when people come in, and I'm not saying I'm God's gift to anything. Like, I look how I look. I'm fit, I'm healthy, I look a certain way. Whether you guys think I look great or I look like a bag of shit, it's your opinion. I'm happy with how I look with, my clothes on. I'm happy how I look naked. My wife approves. Hey, life is good for me. But people will come in and say, Jeremy, I'd like to look like you do. I go, do you understand how much you have to give up just to be lean enough to have your abs even show a little bit on your body? Like, how much fucking sacrifice and effort it takes to just be lean enough to where you have some semblance of, ligaments and ab definition showing where your body fat is lean enough, let alone to have like all of your abs show and have veins running through like your quads and your stomach and your arms and having your chest look striated and splitting down the middle. That takes a ridiculous amount of effort just to get there for most people, let alone stay there for 1, 3, 5, 10, 15, 20 years. I'm not saying it's insanity, but it's really hard to do. And a lot of people think like that is just a process they can do for training hard for 3 to 6 months. And some people who have great genetics and an athletic background, maybe. But to sustain it is super, super difficult. And that's what fitness is. It's a sustained effort over long periods of time. That's why I say anybody who has worked in fitness for over 10 years, respect to you. Even if you're a complete moron and you haven't, learned a lot of new stuff, you've stuck it out for 10 years and you've stayed fit and you've stayed consistent, because that's the toughest part. It's one of the hardest things you can do because you have to eat right and train and get sleep and take care of your body day in and day out, month after month, year after year, over and over and over again. And that's what it is. So understand, anybody listening, you can get in the best shape that you can possibly get in. You can be as lean as you possibly want to be, but it probably won't happen in 3 months. It'll probably take you closer to a year of sustained effort on a really high level. And that's why we did the podcast on the cost of getting lean. That's why I always say, is the juice worth the squeeze? What are you willing to give up to look a certain way? It's no different than anything in life. What are you willing to give up to become a doctor? Well, you're probably gonna have to go to school for 10 years. That's what you're willing to give up. You're willing to give up your 20s, basically. What are you willing to give up to live in that $3 million house? Well, you're probably gonna give up free time. You're probably gonna give up, vacations. You're probably gonna give up, being in 3 softball leagues and playing video games. Like, everything in life, there's give and take. You can get it. You just have to ask yourself, is it worth it for me? And how long am I willing to put in the work for? And so again, a lot of people overestimate what they can do in 3 months, but they underestimate what they can do in a year of sustained high-level output and energy. And that's a lot for some people. Their stamina wears off pretty quick. Number 4, thinking you have to do a certain exercise because one says so. If it hurts, don't do it, no matter what social media influencer says. This is true. There's no exercise you have to do. There's no one exercise that has to be done. And people say, well, Jeremy, you say you should squat. I do believe everybody should squat, but we don't all have to squat the same. We don't have to barbell squat, backloading. We don't have to barbell front squat. We don't have to goblet squat. We don't have to split squat. We don't have to bottom load squat. There is going to be a squat that works for you. Might be sumo squats. My point is that you don't have, if I say split squats have changed my life, that's what's worked for me. You might have some other issues, maybe some knee issues, ankle issues, hip issues, some previous injuries. Maybe your doctor doesn't prescribe it, or you just don't get the connection you don't like to feel. Then you don't have to. It could be lateral lunges. It could be reverse lunges. There's so many things you can do. And when I say lunges, it's just a dynamic squat, essentially, like single leg squatting, whatever it may be. There's not one exercise you have to do. Even if a person like me says this is what I do and it works for me, and I suggest it to a lot of our people, I don't suggest it to everybody. There's a lot of people here who come in who split squat and they're great. There's a lot of people here who don't split squat, or the way that we have them do it, it's very modified. Or we have them box squat, or we have them do step ups. They do something different, but you don't have to do, here's the crazy thing, you don't have to do any barbell work if you don't want to, and you can be super, super fit. Obviously, some of the CrossFit people, they do a majority barbell work, and it works for them. I do some barbell work. I don't think BJ Gaddour does fucking any. I haven't talked to him on the phone in the last 2 weeks, so maybe he started doing it, but we text quite a bit, we message, and the last time we chatted, he wasn't doing any barbell work, and if he was, it was like landmine based stuff. He's not, barbell deadlifting, he's not barbell bench pressing, he sure as hell isn't, barbell back squatting. So the point I'm driving at is you don't have to do a certain exercise if it doesn't feel good. And if you don't like it and it don't feel like it works for you, then don't do it. Find something that works for you, that you feel the connection, regardless of what you see everybody on the internet or a coach telling you should do. Number 5, going lightweight for high reps for fat loss. Fat loss, my friends, is determined by calories, not going lighter in the gym. I'm a fan of living in all rep ranges, whether it be light, medium, or heavy, and those are all relative terms depending on you, your strength, and what you feel comfortable with. But I don't believe that lifting light for higher reps is going to make fat loss happen. I think fat loss is going to happen when you're in a energy deficit, a calorie deficit, if you will. The macros are in ranges, and you're training and getting quality sleep, and all the things are happening. If you wanted to mix in your loading work with aerobic stuff, you could do the Jen Sinkler, lift weights faster, basically. Speed up the rest times if you want to make aerobic and loading, but I don't necessarily believe that's going to be more fat loss, dominant, if you will. It comes down to what you eat. If you can lift, I guess my point is, I'll put it this way. You can lift light weights for high reps all day, and if you eat, cookies and cinnamon rolls all day, fat loss isn't going to happen. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So I think we sometimes get hung up on the style of it. If you want the truth, if you want to lift like in the hypertrophy ranges for building muscle, or if you guys want to pick up the heaviest shit you can pick up relative to what you can handle for, like, let's say 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 reps, that might be a good place to start for most people. I do think there is magic around that 10 rep range for a lot of people in terms of if you're talking hypertrophy, like to build muscle. If you're talking strength stuff, maybe 5 reps, give or take. For the average person, I don't think you have to go under 5. I mean, I know there's you can go through 5, 3, 1. You could go down a cube method. There's a lot of things you can do, but I just know a lot of people, on The Office even, they'll joke, they go outside on the prison episode to exercise outside, and they're freezing, and Michael has weights in his trunk, and Jim picks him up. He's like, "What are those 5s?" And Michael's like, "No, 2.5s. I'm going for tone, not bulk." And it's comical when he says that, because a lot of people, I think, believe that. Well, if I pick up heavier weights, I'm gonna gain all this muscle, and I'm gonna become, way bigger and bulkier. And it's just not true. It's just not gonna happen. I have 10 friends who are males who lift heavier than 99% of you listening, and they're not big. They're not big dudes. They're all smaller than me, and a lot of them lift much heavier than I do because they like it, but it doesn't equate to them getting huge. Just like, lifting light weights really fast doesn't equate to fat loss. Number 6, not eating enough protein. Protein, my friends, is good for more than just muscle. It's good for your gut health. It is good for your immune system, how it functions, your hormones. And many of you listening out there, I'm going to generalize here, so don't, crush me, internet. Women specifically, you probably need more than you think, and you probably need more than you are eating. Now, that's me generally speaking after working with people for 15 years on what they eat. But yeah, a lot of people undereat on protein for sure. I think women do more so than dudes. Dudes tend to as well, but women, from what I see, typically don't eat as much meat as their male counterparts. And so for a lot of you, it's probably 0.8 grams to 1 gram per pound you weigh. I think that's probably more than enough. So if you're a female and you're 130 pounds, you probably eat between 100 and 130 grams a day. That's probably ideal. For most people, what I say is if you can get over 100 grams, that's a good starting point, and then you kind of weed out from there. If you've been used to eating 30 and you go eat 150, you're going to probably have protein farts for a day or so, and that's pretty gross. You don't want to do that. So I always say err on the side of caution for sure. Just like if you eat 5 grams of fiber a day, and you go to eat 30 grams of fiber a day, odds are you're going to shit your pants at some point, and nobody wants to do that. So err on the side of caution, but I do think under eating on protein is a problem for the general public for sure. Number 7, not eating enough veggies. Do I even have to say anything else at that point? Everybody listening to this, short of the vegans and the vegetarians, you probably don't eat enough veggies, which I believe is like 4 to 5 servings of greens per day, like 4 to 5 cups of vegetables each day. It's really tough to do. Unless you work from home, unless you have your meals delivered, or unless you're like gangster on the food prep, which most people aren't, even I'm not. It's just too much work, man. And I'm not downplaying the importance of it, because I do think it's important. But especially now, if we can be open, I come here, I'm here by 4:40 in the morning. I'm not gonna pack like a bunch of meals. And it's just like, it's too much for me to digest, whether it be raw or cooked vegetables that much. So I'll eat probably a day 2 legit servings of veggies, 2 to 3 servings probably, mostly Brussels sprouts and like asparagus and that. And then I'll probably eat a serving of fruits, usually. Sometimes 2 fruit servings, but it just depends on the day. But even that's like 5. And if I'm supposed to get in 10, I'm only halfway there. Hence why I take athletic greens every day. Again, if you guys want to try athletic greens out, hit me up. I'll send you a link for 20 free travel packs, always and forever. Or if you're really on the fence and, well, Jeremy, they're expensive, I will send you a link to your front door. You can try them and see like, wow, actually they're the best greens I've ever tasted. I know. Then I'll send you the link for the 20 free travel packs. But that's why I take athletic greens, for the fact of like, I even struggle with it. So if I can get my micros in, at least helps me cover the bases, and then I put the veggies on top of it. That works for me. But I know a lot of people really struggle with getting enough veggies every single day. Number 8, listening to too many people. This creates the too many cooks in the kitchen scenario. So listen to no more than maybe 3, and preferably 3 people who have accomplished more than you in health and fitness and nutrition. That's where I would start there. I'm not saying you can't like follow fitness people for like ideas and workout stuff, but if you're following 3 people and they don't have their head up their ass, they're probably going to say very similar stuff. Friends of mine in fitness, we're all going to preach very similar things. It might not always be the same, and I'm going to get a bunch more people on the podcast now, especially here locally, because like I just fucking had it with this. I'm sitting in this warehouse for 15 hours a day by myself. I'm driving myself crazy. I feel like an insane person. I feel like I only exist on the internet. It's like really weird. I'm glad I can finally now be in front of humans, because it's just a weird space to be in. But the point I was driving at is, like if I bring Ben Novak on the podcast, Ben and I are going to say very similar things in terms of food, in terms of training. Now he might do more strength or barbell stuff than me, but even that, like we share very, very similar ideas on what we do. If I bring Nikki Metzger back on, like Nikki might be the other way. She might do more interval-based, HIIT style stuff, but we think very similar things. Same thing with Lex, same thing with BJ, same thing with Hannah. It doesn't matter who it is. Like we think very similar. So when you're following people, I'm not saying get 3 people who do all the same stuff. If you want to follow someone who slings kettlebells all day, that's great. But if they're intelligent, they're probably going to say very, very, similar stuff as they go across the board. So follow 3 people who know more than you and who seem educated and probably have your best interest at heart and are sharing things that are real and functional, and things that you like to do, want to do, or aspire to do. Not the drugged out, crazy shit that's just flashy and just full of nonsense. There's a place for that for sure. But if I was to watch, and I grew up on bodybuilding, so I'll always love it, for the dedication and the sacrifice, not necessarily the drugs and the other stuff that goes into it. But like I'll watch like Dexter Jackson, every now and then I might click on his account and watch him train just because he's a freak show and he's like 50 years old and still just, shredded to the bone. It's neat for me to watch. And I admire his sacrifice and dedication. I don't want to look like that. I can't. I'm 6'2". My wingspan is 6'4.5". So like genetically, it's not going to happen. And I would never do the drugs in order to get there. But I watch it and I'm like, it's neat. It's kind of like, it's inspiring in its own way. But I don't follow that as like a North Star of what I should do or what we should be teaching or coaching. It's just not, it's not my thing. So what I mean is, like, you can't listen to too many people, because I get a lot of people say, oh, I heard this or so-and-so said that. I'm like, that's fine. But you have to pick your dedicated, if you want to say, experts or resources that you stick with, that you think are sharing things that align with your goals. In reality, that's what I would do. Number 9, getting blood work done. Health or lack thereof is going to show inside your body probably before it shows on the outside. Sometimes not, but more likely. So if you can correct any health markers, it makes losing weight and getting fit and being healthy and happy a whole hell of a lot easier. Like even for me, there's been 2 times in the last 10 years where my vitamin D has been not deficient, but how do I say this? Insufficient. So there's deficient, insufficient, insufficient. I believe that's the 3 levels. Any doctors correct me. But mine has been low twice in the last 10 years. Not in the last 5 years, but previous to that it was. No, I didn't know that. I lived in Arizona. I thought it was fine. But again, we stay inside a lot. I wear a long sleeve shirt, pants, a hat most of the times, and I work. So I was not getting enough vitamin D in my life, which is terrible for you, because it also is like a hormone regulator as it comes into the body. It plays a bigger role than just like a vitamin C, even though vitamin C plays a great role too. It's important, and I was not getting enough. And so if you're not getting it through sunlight, you have to supplement it. Your body cannot create it. So that was something that was a marker on my stuff. And without getting my blood work done, I would not have known that, which makes me more susceptible to getting sick. My immune system is weakened, all these things. So I do think getting blood work done for you guys at least once per year, at minimum, like at your physical. If you get done twice per year, I think that's even better, just so you know what's going on, like with your cholesterol, with your triglycerides, with your liver enzymes, with anything, blood pressure, you name it. It's just nice to go in and have them run all the tests, not just a blood work, but a full kind of breakdown to see where you're at and how you're feeling every single day. Number 10, not tracking your numbers. This can be anything. It could be records of the weights you lift, if you're into that world, the PR stuff, or just like rep ranges of what you do. I think doing that is going to keep you guys from always using the same weights, always doing the same sets and reps, and it's going to keep your workout from stalling. Tracking your macros, like on MyFitnessPal, see what food's going in, what's going out, where's my proteins, carbs, and fats at, where's my fiber, where's my sugars. Tracking things like how many drinks are you having per week. I think that's a great one for a lot of people. It's depressing, maybe not what they want to do, but it is very eye-opening. Oh wow, I had 14 drinks last week. Holy shit, that's way more than I thought it was. And is it like a real drink, like at a restaurant pour, or is your pour? So if you had 7 of your drinks, that's really 14 drinks. Things like that. I think are ideal. Tracking how many workouts you got in, tracking how many steps you get in. I bought this really cheap watch. It's somewhere around here. And people think it's an Apple Watch. It's not. I got it off Amazon for like $30. And it tracks my steps. And today, before I even started my workout, because I was up coaching this morning, I already took like 16,000 steps per the day. So that's a nice thing to just track and have a metric. And I think at that point I already walked, like 6 miles? Just pacing around and moving, which is great. So if you're not tracking, I think it does put you in a box. I'm not saying track everything and be, neurotic about it and drive yourself crazy, but I think it's nice to have a record to kind of audit if things are going well, or if things aren't going well, what can you improve and how can you move the needle one way or the other. And then number 11 here. This is my favorites. Comparing yourself to others, which we know is awful, because comparison, my friends, is the thief of joy. In the house you live in the person you're married to, in the clothes you wear, in the body you have, in the car you drive, you fucking name it. Comparing yourself to other people's highlight reels is the easiest way to make you feel like a bag of shit and drag you down almost instantly. It is a lose-lose scenario no matter what side of the fence you're on, because if you're doing it to make yourself feel better, that means you're putting people down and you're trying to raise yourself up by comparing yourself to people who are inferior or not as good as you are at one specific area, which is it makes you a shitty human, and it's a terrible practice. Or you go the other way. You think everybody else is winning, they're doing awesome, they all look like Brad Pitt from Troy, or everybody's Beyonce, and everybody has the freshest car, takes the greatest vacations, they have the perfect marriage and the best kids, and your life just sucks shit. And we all know that's not true. But when you get in your head and you play that comparison game, you can convince yourself of damn near anything. And it's a terrible place to be in. So please stop fucking doing that if you are. Because at the end of the day, if we're talking fitness and health and working out, genetics are real. They always have been. They always will be. Some people are luckier in certain areas. Some people are going to get abs faster. Some people are going to build the butt better. We all have something we're given. Some people are taller. Some people are shorter. You can build muscle quicker. You can be leaner, faster, whatever the fuck it is. Some of us just have it better in certain areas. Not in all. Nobody has won them all. And if that person did, they're a unicorn. Awesome. Those do exist as well. But it's very few and far between. But if you're talking the physical body, you can't compare your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 15. It's just not fair. Age range training is real. A guy can't come in here at 42 and say, Jeremy, well, or let's put it this way. A guy can't come in here at, 36, 37 years old and say, Jeremy, we're the same age. I want to look like you do. I'm like, well, bro, it's not the same. Like, I've been doing this since like 3rd grade. I've been playing sports. I've been lifting weights since even before that. I had plastic weights in my mom's fucking apartment, doing bench press, overhead press, and sit-ups and push-ups and bodyweight squats and you name it. Like, that's like when I'm in single digits, like 8, 9, 10 years old. And then you take into account for the last, really 17 years, I haven't missed a day of training and have been lean and built muscle over this whole time. Like, you can't compare what you're trying to do today to what I'm doing. I'm deep in the book, man. I'm like encyclopedia deep. You're just starting out on, everybody poops. You're on a kid's book. I'm deep in the game here. And that's not saying I'm better and you're worse. I'm just that much further along in the education process. So a lot of you guys do that. You see so-and-so on the internet, or people go the reverse. Oh, look at them. They're 22. They haven't even got kicked in the nuts yet. Life hasn't even touched them yet. They have no kids. They have no job. They're an Instagram person. They're genetically just lean and they're small, and they wear these great outfits and they take good lighting, and then they post a fucking video that they didn't really do, and then they share it with you, and then you compare it to yourself. After dealing with your 3 kids all day, you got off of 9 hours of Zoom calls, and you're in your sweatpants and you ate a bag of your kids' chips and you feel like shit. Do not do that. That's fucking lunacy. That's insanity. You guys stop doing that. I don't go to the park and play basketball and then watch LeBron play and be like, man, I want to be like LeBron. Well, I'm not 6'9", I don't weigh 260 pounds, and I'm not one of the greatest 5 basketball players of all time. I'm just happy doing what I do on the side here. You have to approach it the same way. If we all did that and compared to everybody else's amazingness, and looked and compared yourself to the 1%ers in every category, we'd all feel like fucking failures. We just would. If you flip it around, right? If Jeff Bezos, if he's the richest dude in the world, it's got to be close, like $200 billion. If he took his area of that compared to mine, well, he crushes me for sure. Now, if him and I get on the assault bike together, I'm gonna beat his ass. He ain't gonna have a chance. Then the roles are reversed. I'm the Jeff Bezos of the assault bike. He's just a bum on the street. You see what I'm saying? We just can't do it. There's certain things you're gonna be great at. There's certain things you're gonna lag at. And on the fitness journey, there's gonna be certain things you'll see that you compare to, and it's not apples to apples. It's apples to oranges. And there is no comparison. And all it will do is steal your joy. It's not fair to you. You can't do things like that. You just got to be happy with the progress you've made so far and work healthily and happily to change the things that you want to change. And the last one here, we'll give you a bonus quick before I go. If you're new to fitness, or you're stuck at a plateau or a roadblock and you're trying to go to the next level, get a mentor if you can, to show you what you need to do, to ask questions, to follow their example, to guide you along the way, because their experience is going to cut your learning curve by 100%, man. And it's going to speed up your results. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, standing on the shoulders of giants is real. Modeling the behavior of people who have done it before you is real. And you can learn a lot, and you can shave off a lot of time on your journey, and you can save yourself a lot of heartache and pitfalls and pains in the ass along the way if you do that. Now, you have to actually do it and listen to them. You can listen to my podcast, you can come into our gym and join it, or join us for one of our programs online, but you have to actually eat the food. You have to do the workouts. You have to get to sleep. You have to put yourself in a position to be successful and do what's necessary in order to get there. But if you do that and you listen, you'll do things 10 times faster than I ever did them, because I made all the mistakes. I did all the dumb shit over and over and over again. I had to, for lack of a better term, take the punches in the mouth. And so I took the punches in the face for you, so you don't have to do them. That's why this podcast exists. That's why Instagram exists, our YouTube, and all our free stuff. And then obviously all our coaching things goes super deep down the rabbit hole for you guys. So if you are stuck somewhere or you're new to the game, what I would suggest is get with a coach or a mentor, and use their experience to speed up your results and get to where you want to go a whole hell of a lot faster than all of us did, who did it, for lack of a better term, the wrong way, or at least took the crazy roundabout ups and downs to get to where we are, where you can kind of just streamline it and GPS your way to success from all of our stupid blunders on our way here. So that, my friends, is actually 12 tips, but that was your 11 silly things people do when they're trying to get in shape. And if you find yourself doing those things, stop doing them and start doing the things that are going to get you the results that you want a whole hell of a lot faster than this crazy nonsense. And the stopping and starting is a big issue for a lot of people. So the one thing I'll say before I go is just consistently eat real food within your macro ranges, consistently show up and put an effort to your workouts, consistently get good sleep, consistently do things to put you in a relaxed state and not be super stressed every day. Consistently foam roll and do mobility, and fill your mind full of positive things, and read things that are motivating to you, watch things that are motivating to you, fill the walls of your office or your bedroom or your house with things that motivate you or inspire you or that put you in a good mood, that make you want to train, and surround yourself by a community of people who trains and that you want to train with, or a coach or multiple coaches or whatever it is. I just think the environment and the atmosphere plays a huge role in it, and you guys can't control that. And that's just one thing a lot of people tend to lack doing. Even sometimes the t-shirt you wear will make all the difference in the world. It just has a simple saying on it, get your ass moving, or whatever your mantra is, or whatever you believe in. Do that and do it consistently, because it really, none of this really matters if you only do it once in a while. It's not what we do some of the time that matters the most. It's what we do most of the time that matters most. And that's going to take you guys to the next level of your health and fitness and happiness, for that matter. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Again, quick reminder, our homies at JLab are giving away a free bottle of probiotics. All you got to do is pay for the shipping. The link is in my Instagram bio right now. It's also on my Instagram stories. If you hit me up within probably the next day or two, right now it is August 31st, 2020, I could probably send the link directly, and then you can pick it up and take it yourself. It's a probiotic that I take. I keep it in the fridge, again, just as a reminder. And I'm a huge fan of gut health, because as we know, gut health is responsible for at least 70 to 80% of your immune system lives in your gut. So why would you not fill it with things that are going to make you, have a Mike Tyson-like immune system, so you can kick the shit out of any nonsense that comes your way. And if you do happen to get a virus, you do happen to get sick, your body can beat the fuck out of it, hopefully in a day or two, and you can keep things moving. Simple takeaway. So if you guys happen to be on iTunes right now, stop. Don't be a lazy ass. Go to your podcast app right now on your phone, scroll your finger all the way down, drop it a 5-star, leave me a couple of comments. I truly would appreciate it. And if you guys do dig the podcast, share it on your Instagram stories, share it on Facebook, on LinkedIn, Twitter, email it to friends and family members, share it like wildfire. I truly do appreciate it, because I do think it can help people. It's all common sense information, especially in a world right now where we live and there's not that much common sense going around. Hopefully, my crazy brain can be the voice of reason for people to be healthier and take care of themselves, because I think now more than ever it is important. And with all the stress and shit that goes on in the world, I think this is it's a great takeaway, and all simple things that people should know. But if they don't, send it on over to them. So I appreciate you guys for listening. I thank you. Thank you for watching on YouTube. You guys are amazing as well. If you guys need anything or have requests or questions for the podcast, I'm happy to get to it. I got a lot of stuff in the queue coming here, so we'll keep pumping these bad boys out. Hopefully at a clip of 2, 3, 4 a week. That is my goal right now. And as we get guests on, we'll even ramp it up more and more. So if you need something, holler at me. Otherwise, until next time, Eat well, train hard, be nice to people, and please, you guys, keep doing shit you love with people you enjoy because your life is too short not to. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.